able to actually take some of these withdrawals daily. It's crazy because I literally recovered. If you want to, my equity curve on one of my funded challenges before doing this strategy is insane. I was at 9,700 on the 15th, 2 days ago. I woke up this morning at
Damn.
900. Now I was at, yep, 9,700. So I was 200 away from the max drawdown. I am now within 2 days at 9,947. My equity curve is a straight line up.
Well, that's what happens when you're buying likely lows and unlikely tops. And a little
Yeah.
FYI, I got the stream running now, so just a little FYI,
Okay.
that's all. But no, I mean, we're gonna keep on talking over this, so because
Okay.
who watches this? It's us. It's us. We're the
Yeah.
we are the ones who watch it anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah,
My equity
we got
curve
the
is up.
daily stream going now. It's all good.
Other than that, I'm good. I'm just gonna use the shares. I'm just gonna use shares with position size, like buy shares, and then swing those on the week instead of stocks and options. And I'm gonna swing trade some NQ and some ES for my how I would have traded SPY and the QQQ on the on Tradeovate. And then I'm gonna use TradeStation to actually take my commodity swings, like my gold, my silver, my copper, my oil, my natural gas, my wheat, and my lumber.
I hear you.
I'm not trading for.
That sounds like.
And the fact is,
But the fact is, what?
I'm not. Well, the fact is, it's crazy because based off of my strategy right now, I just know it's going to be just like that, except for on a weekly extended time frame. Yes, I still will be using prop firms across any market I can get my hands on them. Just because.
Well, usually the more the better, especially when you're great at taking challenges.
Wow, I should have never got out this. You see, I gotta stick with my strategy. I should have never got this USD CAD long. At least for right now. I'm gonna see. I mean, it's the first 2 days of me testing this live and going live. I secured 125 basis points yesterday and secured another 125 basis points today. Um, and I'm gonna just observe the market right now for
Well,
some.
when you start reaching monthly, for example, like what is this probability? This is the like the 80th percent probability here on USD CAD for the month. Like once you start reaching that spot, it's like, okay, how much can I really start stretching long trades on a day-to-day basis?
Yep.
It just makes you cautious. Like, okay, I should be looking on day trades all the way up, long, all the way up to
Around this
3,500.
level,
But
I think it was a pretty smart.
I'm still in this. I mean, my drawdown was pretty. I was like, oh crap, that's gonna suck because it's not the size. I sized properly on these USD CAD shorts that I had on myself. But it was just annoying because it's like, oh man, I've been in the trade since like the beginning of the month, and it's at such a good spot, and then it comes like within like 5 pips of the
Yeah.
stop I set, and it just immediately reverses, and I'm like, now all the pressure is gone. I'm like, crap, And then there's Aussie dollar, and I know you traded this one too. But
I did trade all the
yeah,
It's been a pretty good setup for me.
yeah, dude, that first shot at the long trade kind of sucked because that one did get stopped out. But then once it tapped that low and immediately
Yeah,
reversed,
my
it's like,
second shot
well,
was beautiful.
yeah. And I'm still holding on
Shit.
to this one here.
AUD USD longs.
Yeah, I'm still holding on to this one because it's also at a monthly low, I
Well,
think, as well.
yeah, I had a limit order in. I had a limit
Uh,
order in for for that take profit.
Yeah, it didn't quite hit the low, but now you're dealing with like this is the 90% probability spot, so you're like really pushing how much lower this thing can actually go. And then I think on the week, yeah, it tapped that spot, it went into nowhere land, and it zipped on right on back up. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
either you're really sold on dollar getting stronger, but then we had some Australian data come out. What I'd like to do is see if I got any Westpac outlooks that can give us some insight into what happened. Let's see here. No, I haven't received any new Westpac outlooks, it seems. Nope. Yeah, so it looks like things are going to be pretty straightforward. Everyone in the world right now who's a finance guy on YouTube, they're talking
Yeah.
about Michael Burry and how he's like getting super short or something. I haven't seen the details of his position yet, but just everyone in the news cycle is saying Michael Burry, Michael Burry, Michael Burry. I don't know if you've followed Michael Burry closely or not over like the course of 2020, but um yeah, he's been calling for a recession for like the last 4 years.
Well,
Like even before COVID.
hmm. I mean, isn't he the person that had that big shirt the first time?
Yeah, he was the one who I think he got I forget what year he got short for 2007 8. I think he got short pretty damn early. He had a serious drawdown and he just held through the drawdown. But he also
Yeah.
arguably had to do some pretty unethical stuff to
Yeah.
to stop investors from pulling out their money and just taking a loss.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's some people who say Michael Burry is a freaking genius, but there are people who timed and made more money the
Yeah.
2008 crisis, like way more responsibly. They made way more money and they timed it way better. So you know, the fascination with Michael Burry is just that it's just fascination, you know.
Yeah.
Props to him. He still walked out unscathed and made some money, right? Made way more
Mm-hmm.
money than I did. I wasn't even trading during 2008. But, yeah, kind of to teach their own, on that front. Any is there anything on a 2 hour I can check out on any of these major assets? Let's see here on the S&P.
Not really. I mean, the only thing that looks pretty cool is NJ. Um, AJ had the same thing that happened with AUD as
Oh,
it
so
would.
going like into the yens now.
Yeah.
Let's see.
NZD USD is actually at a sell level.
Let's see. Let's load it up on a 2 hour. Yeah,
NZD
you're right.
USD
It
that
could
shit
have topped
is
out for the day.
very
That
tough.
Yeah, and it hit the edge of that spot too. Yeah, so this looks like a good short on the day. And your stop would have to be probably up around here, frankly. And then
Like,
you
a
take it.
little bit like 11.
Yeah, you would have to take it to the end of day. Um this would probably be like a 10 or a 20 basis point trade. But
Mhm.
considering how strong things have got, I mean, in all seriousness, this actually would be a fine setup if you are already short the US dollar from earlier on in the day today. Like if you had gone long Aussie dollar and you've been holding that long, actually
Yeah.
taking the pot shot here on New Zealand dollar ain't the worst idea in the world. Yeah, let's try that out. Yeah, and the stop actually on this is pretty tight. It's only like 20 pips. And
I might
yeah,
think of after Asia session, I might just like delete my limits because effectively, like you know, I made my money
pretty much.
overnight. I mean, I shouldn't really. There's really no reason for me to have trades running right now. Currently, I'm making most of my money in the Asia session. I make. I don't really make any money at all the during the New York session. So I think I'm just gonna delete my limits now. Yeah, might as well.
I mean, the nice thing about this indicator is that it's not time dependent. So whether you hit it in New York or Asia or London,
Yeah,
what matters is do you hit the level?
yeah.
Let's see here. Let's check out USD CNH. Or, yeah,
Looking at that
CNH.
GU. Look at GU by the way.
Yeah, well, this was the China intervention that just happened. So it moved the whole currency about 0.5% here. Let's see. Whoa. Yeah, that is a nutty little distribution. AJ, you said ASEAN.
GJ.
Oh, pound. Gotcha. Yeah, that thing just keeps going up, and away. Damn.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
coming. It's approaching a sell level for me,
let's look
or
at
for the
it
two
for
hour.
the week, and let's look at it on the day.
Yep, it's approaching a sell level for me on the 2 hour.
Yeah, there was a decent buy opportunity right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if I would anticipate like a super significant
yeah.
lower low, but I also wouldn't expect a significant higher high at this point. You're just getting a slight negative trend here, slightly negative
Hmm.
drift. Yeah,
I just deleted my. I just simply deleted all my orders except for my GJ orders. I made my profit. I'm gonna run with that today.
let's see. So far USD CAD and it looks like pound have moved the most, at least from their open today. And if you
Yeah.
look at dollar CAD, that was the short. This is the exit for the day. So actually going long here ain't worst idea in the world either.
Oh, man. Let me create a. Let me create an invoice really quickly.
Alrighty. Euro dollar seeing a bit of a bounce. Nice little positive drift starting to come in, or at least a bounce. Probably it's gonna go up another 10 or so pips. Yeah, another 10 to 20 pips to up here.
$1. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a limit sell right at 1.09 or 1.09 level. So the distribution right there, yep,
Mm-hmm.
is a pretty likely. Trade.
And now let's check out the pound. Pound's at another set of these highs back here, so let's just see if it's at another good spot. The short. I mean, you could say yeah, but you got this little slide here, these extra little probabilities right here. So I'd be on the more, careful side. The stop would have to be a bit further. This would have to be a 30 pip stop. The last two setups for like CAD and New Zealand that we looked at, those were 20 pip, 15 pip stops. This is 30, so it's like, it's got to get into a better spot here. So maybe it like comes back, it sweeps those prior swing highs. It's probably going to happen. So just let whatever probably happens, and then take a measured, conserved risk.
Yeah.
All right. And then same thing here. Nothing's really changed on the New Zealand dollar setup here. It probably topped out. It could come back and reach some of these levels, but this is a very decent stop on that. Aussie dollar is trucking along here. Now, oh yeah, it's probably going to go to this next peak up here. Yeah, so let's move that up like so. Lock that in place. And I'll probably put like some limits to exit this long right around here. And that'll be a quick like 60, 70 pips on the day.
My USD JPY was nice. Very, very nice. Very, very nice sell on USD JPY.
All right, so that'd be about 66 pips. So, but I'm still kind of on the curious side here. I gotta check out this stuff for the week. Well, the week is about to end, so now it's more of a concern of, is this low actually for the month, and this thing is going to start to drift higher. I think that's a particularly good entry on the month, though. But the yield differentials are actually pretty tight if it weren't for this long term.
Yeah.
Like, if you remove that long term, this is pretty good. The only thing that's making this negative is the long term. Okay.
Yeah.
This is probably something to trail then. I don't think it's going to be, because you know what? I think Australia is bouncing a lot harder than New Zealand at this current point in time, because the China stimulus that came in today is gonna, while it will help both countries, it's gonna help Australia a lot more. Like, you can already see the positive yield differential here on that one, but you don't see it here on Aussie, which is interesting because it has a lot more to gain. And it also had a much larger reversal.
Yeah.
So on an absolute move basis, yeah, Aussie's performed much, much better. But what's interesting is that in response to that stimulus, the yen has weakened. So, or has rather strengthened, right? Because this chart going down means yen strengthens. So maybe something to do with, as China's currency gets stronger, people divest out of Japan, or maybe they see something afoot here that actually isn't that great in China, so they're pulling more of their money out of yuan. Let's see here. Spending monitor, nope. Geopolitical radar, no peace in sight for Ukraine. Part 4 of that Wells Fargo AI breakdown. Let's see here. Here, I can pull up what I'm looking at here real quick. Yep, global inflation growth, what to watch out for. Services rebound, further losing steam. With the first summer season since the easing of worldwide travel restrictions continuing into the busy August period, it will be of interest to observe how the sector will trend with upcoming releases. Okie doke. Because that could probably be a bellwether for Q4. Manufacturing is having a destocking problem still. Global inflation pressures are persisting. Mixed growth across developed economies. Alrighty. Let's see here. Inflation expectations in the US. Please give me numbers. Okay, that's all a historical look back. Okay, there we go. Importance of factors contributing to the inflation decrease, the disinflation, between year over year, June 22 to June 23. And that was mostly Federal Reserve stuff. And then supply chain, fiscal spending, and then demand. Great. And now for the year ahead from June 23 to 24, which is what's useful. Oh, look, those first top four don't change. So, yeah, nothing's changed in the interpretation here when it comes down to future expectations. And then we have spending monitor. Looks like this is for Denmark, the Scandi countries, and then political radar. This is the no peace in sight for Ukraine stuff. U.S.-China relations have remained fairly calm over the summer. Biden has put a ban on U.S. investments in Chinese tech related to AI, microchips, and supercomputers, but the scope of the ban is narrower than the first draft proposals. Okay, I mean, this isn't anything new, so this is just kind of an outlook that's recapping some of the basic facts that are known. So, geopolitical developments on the radar. The annual BRICS summit will take place next week. Okay. So, be ready to get psyoped, everybody. Next week, we have the BRICS meeting. Oh, the BRICS, they're going to have their currency backed by gold, or backed by oil, or backed by some bullshit commodity. No one is going to trust the BRICS. China is failing to pay the yield on so many of its bonds. No one's interacting with Russia because of all the sanctions. And the few people who are getting fined and hit pretty hard. I mean, most of the world is going to the middle of Asia and to India. And, you know, India's in an interesting spot with Russia. You know what's funny? But, so Russia, you know, they're known and renowned for their AK-47s, right? Everyone loves AK-47s just as much as they love their AR-15s. But you know what?
Yep.
Also, the AK guy on YouTube, he's running for like a house seat or something. I thought that was actually kind of cool. But in India, I found out about this actually from the BRICS website. BRICS has a website where they talk about all their new developments and all the deals that they're doing together to, all the propaganda that they share about BRICS. And they had this huge article about how Russia and India had formed a partnership to manufacture AK-47s, where Russia will just send them some raw supplies and the blueprints, and then India will produce, manufacture, assemble, and then ship back AK-47. AK-47s in Russia are not even built by Russians. They're built by the Indians. And we're also talking about AK-47s. So the Russians develop, design, and issue the order to build AK-47s. They send the money and they send the whatever materials and they send the research over to India. India manufactures and assembles the AK-47s. And these are like the latest model AK-47s, the one that are like kind of plastic and in black. I forgot exactly what they're called. But those get manufactured and then sent back to Russia. And then what does Russia do with them? They don't just send them all to the military. No, they send a few to people who buy them off of them, some allies, like the Chinese. They sell them to the Chinese, they sell them to a few other countries. And it's just made in India. And now, because of all these sanctions and because of what's been, going on with Ukraine, there is now a shortening supply of AK-47 production. Oh, I wonder why. Maybe it's because the Indians don't really want to have anything to do with the Russians while they're in the middle of this conflict. Even though they have to pinky swear and cross their fingers. Oh, United States, we're not importing any Russian oil. We're importing this very clean Saudi oil, yet there's some tanker off in the Red Sea that's meeting with the Saudis, and they're like mixing half and half Saudi and Russian oil just to skirt the sanctions, getting those into India. Oh man.
Geopolitical stuff is funny. Very, very funny.
Yeah. Literally, that all can just be hearsay, for all I know. I mean, there it literally could only be like a few 100 million, a few 10 millions, or it could be now in the billions if it's that actually that serious. Sanctions are actually being circumvented in that way. But I just take it all as hearsay. But you know what? It's fun listening to those stories and getting perspective, because the Russians have a point of view about the world. Try and understand the world from their point of view. The Indians have a point of view about the world. Try and understand their point of view. Everyone's got a point of view of the world. Try and understand their points of view. So then when things change, you have a frame of reference to go off of. So that then you can at least have some basic expectation on, well, this is how the country generally views this topic. The leader of the country is now making this change, legally or militarily. Man, that change will probably affect the current situation in the country like this. And then you go and you confirm your hypothesis. You go and you read some papers. You go and you talk to some people. And you see if what you anticipate is actually going on. And it's kind of surprising how predictable things actually can get when you just learn just a little bit. Not even that much. Just when you just learn enough about another country to be competent on like very, very basic expectations for like just understanding some basic things about a legal system or some basic things about like what's going on in the country culturally. Like how India, like here's something that's actually like more trading related. India is urbanizing because they're making more money now. Apple's moving in. You have all these people. You have the United States, and India is making a lot more money. Their standard of
Mm-hmm.
living over like the next 10, 20 years is gonna fucking skyrocket.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right now, a lot of places in India are beginning to urbanize. Their standard of living is skyrocketing in some places up, which is fantastic. But one thing this is doing the markets is that now that some Indians actually have more discretionary income, they don't want to buy rice because now they're like, oh, dude, I can actually afford food I want, not just I have to buy rice because it's the cheapest thing. I can afford to buy wheat and bread and make pasta and stuff, and that can be a whole lot more tasty than rice. So that's just the taste of food in India. But if you look at it, like the prices of wheat in India are kind of getting kind of nutty right now. Here, let's go ahead and check out wheat. So wheat is actually going down, down, down in the United States. You're now going past the likely low here. You're probably going to end up down here, man. So wheat is getting totally demolished here. And then rice. Oh, well, that's Thailand rice. Wow, Thailand rice is way up there. And here's rice. Well, it looks like rice is actually holding up a lot better than wheat, huh? But this is the US markets, and dude, you go ahead and you check these commodity markets by country. So you check food markets in the US versus food markets in Europe versus food markets in Brazil versus food markets in Africa versus food markets in Asia. Like, there's no one like wheat index.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe I gotta double check my reading, you know. I see you, James. The news release was bearish for Australia, which is interesting because even though the economic news in Australia was bearish, I'd agree just based off what I'm what I saw. Um, the China news is actually good, in a much more significant fashion for Australia. So, yeah, because China intervened with their currency today, it doesn't matter. That's gonna be a much bigger boon for Australia. Euro New Zealand I sold again from 1.839. Man, this thing's gonna become a widowmaker if it doesn't actually go down. Ah, oh, look how close that thing came to the tippy top. Let's see. Oh, well, if you got 10839, then that is the tippy top. Damn. Look at that. Yeah, James, you've killed it here on this trade. Yeah, look at that. There's your likely top for the week. And yeah. I mean, I was expecting it to go down here and it just went sideways. That was a bit disappointing. Spiked up and there was the second shot. And we labeled this 2 days ago. That was the 15th. Today's the 17th. So yeah, we had our eyes on this. Now's the question of, is this thing actually going to top out and roll over now? You're probably going to need to see the thing actually come down to have that sort of security. Because right now, for all intents and purposes, this thing can go sideways or continue drifting up. You gotta see price put the kibosh on this and actually move lower significantly. We can check it out on the daily range probabilities here on a 2-hour. See how you did on the day-to-day. Oh wow, that looks pretty clean, especially for like an exit on the day or a long on the day. Wow. Yeah, check this one out, Isaac. Euro New Zealand. You were probably taking some nibbles short in like this 20 pip range here between 183.6 and yeah 183.9. Yeah, you did exactly what you were supposed to do.
That's
And
beautiful.
then on the day, it just went down, 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 and went to this likely low. In fact, if you're going to get your low between any one of these data points, this is the one with the highest probability at 15%. So that is
Beautiful.
the likely low for the day. The low's probably in for the day now, at least on this pair.
That is- That's a beautiful setup. You know what's crazy to think about? I think I might not trade on Fridays as we get to the end of the week.
Yeah, you know, you can still do it, but like that's really where a day trade becomes kind of optimal in all seriousness. Like
Oh, wow.
that's where day trading actually can be quite useful. Way more actually it could take precedent over like a weekly setup. Because most
I
of the time
mean,
there's like not much going on for
yeah.
your weekly setups. Like usually you've already hit your entries long or short and exits for those entries. Also, the yen is getting on the stronger side here. Yeah, like against the dollar, it's really ripping against the dollar here. Let's see here, euro
I got that
yen.
short. I got a short on USD or dollar yen this morning. Amazing short.
Yeah, it looks like we're at a likely low here on euro yen. USD yen. Oh my god. Oh, what's the timestamp on that? That timestamp was yesterday.
And that's exactly what I got. Exactly what I got.
Literally, this was the trade plan we made yesterday. Like,
Yep.
uh, I mean, it's still going, so I don't see why. I mean, hell, this thing can just slide into this area, and this area is kind of uniform, huh? Right, six,
It is. Every
5.9,
140.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
145.5. It already went past my take profit, so I got clicked out of it. So I just was like, fuck it. I'm not even gonna trade it anymore. I actually had a buy at that second distribution level, and I got out of it early on purpose.
Oh,
Which is
check
crazy.
this out. Look at the closing odds on the week, and you can see the peak here in your distribution for
Yeah.
closings for the week are roughly around here. So if I go ahead and I extend the line like this into end of the week, and I go something like 2020, 18, 17, timestamp it, and go back to a 2 hour so we can kind of see what I'm illustrating here. Just, yeah, it seems like getting out at like this area down here makes sense because some guys will probably be buying around that spot. And that'll be in the upper, well, in the lower half of the 145 handle. So, into the end of the week, I'd anticipate that, but I also would just anticipate something like this and then a bit of a positive drift into the end of the week. So, something along those lines. Unless the thing just totally keels over and goes pump, 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 pump in react. Like, if there is more intervention on the China side of things, then yeah, we'll probably see like a stronger Aussie, a weaker yen continue, or rather stronger yen. 2023, 08, 17. So either this thing's just going to drift lower into the end of the week, or it's going to plummet, give you a nice little low, it'll rebound, kind of jiggle around 145. Yeah, so that's my expectation.
So My closing odds do not work at all. I don't know if it's my settings or what it is.
Well, it's gotta be. You're looking
Yeah, it
at
has to be.
dollar yen.
Looking at dollar. Yeah, let me look at dollar again. What time frame is that? 2 hour,
This is a
12
12.
hour. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My closing odds just do not have any peaks at all.
I'm
Oh, they
using
do. Oh, wait,
3,000.
wait. They do have. They do, and I'm using 3,000. Oh, I'm using 5,000. They do have peaks for. I guess just for USD CAD. When I was looking at, it just doesn't have any peaks.
Oh yeah, let's check out that.
It's weird. Just some of them just don't have peaks.
Yeah, they're pretty uniform. And that's where when you look at these closing odds and you just see it's flat, 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 that's where it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I can not really forecast where the close for the week is going to occur. I can just say somewhere in this flat ass uniform range.
Mhm.
And that also kind of keeps you on your toes because you're like, well, this thing could go anywhere potentially. Like there's no peak where this thing is like you know, don't get me wrong, some assets on some weeks over some time horizons will have those peaks, but not every asset, right? Especially that USD CAD. Let's check out if Euro has it. The Euro dollar is seeing a bit of a bit of relief. It's like 20 pip. Yeah, you can see how it's got a bit more of a hump. It's still uniform, but it's uniform within a tighter range here, right? So let's see here. If you got in long at that low, it's like 75% of the time you close the week in profit. And yeah, that was the likely low. I mean, you definitely could have been buying there. However, right
Yeah.
around here, this is just that is kind of sketchy. And I still wouldn't be super, you know, bullish, frankly. I would expect to see some more positive drift. But I really would probably want to still be on the short side of this thing. But then when you go ahead and you look at it on the month, it's like, well, you're probably at the low for the month. So it's really a kind of a mixed bag. It really is kind of a mixed bag on the Euro side of things because either over the last 4 days you've been taking nibbles and shots at trying to go long this, like for the week or for the month, and finding a good long spot on the month, or you're just sitting on your hands waiting on getting shorts at these like weekly and daily timeframes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, that's 0.64. So if we were to close right now, 0.64 would be around here. Yeah. And then 0.64 from down here would be roughly there. Yeah. Probably another short in the upper half of this 109 handle next week would probably be in the cards. Making good progress also on that feature. Made good progress on it today. A lot of technical work going into getting the new features out. Really can't. I really look forward to it. I'm not trying to do too much. I'm just gonna try and get that one feature going. Uh, fix any minor bugs that I find, and get this damn thing released. Because I already wanted this thing released like a day or two ago, but lordy. Don't need to reiterate the trials and tribulations of the programming. I don't think I need to. Oh man, oh, there's quite a few people watching. Yeah. I think we hit like 8. Not a big deal, but yeah, nice.
It's
Yeah, it's good. Well, it's good enough for just sending it at everyone in the Discord and the people who are already subscribed onto the YouTube, with only like a couple hundred people on each. So it's like, oh, sweet. People do watch and pay attention. Because hopefully more people find out about this and
Yeah.
how dumb, simple, straightforward trading like this makes trading.
Yep.
Yeah, so the New
Can I
Zealand.
wait till
Hmm?
tomorrow? Might be. I said tomorrow, since I've literally opened up this funded account, if I get 50 basis points, it'll be the first time I've breached the starting balance of this account at $10,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. All towards making some money.
And that's only 2 days. Well, it's nice. That's very, very nice.
You know, I mentioned the USD CAD and the New Zealand dollar setups. So that setup's doing good. And New Zealand
Oh, look at
dollars, I don't know.
Mr.
I don't
Amazon.
think that this trade will be any good because Aussie dollar's probably gonna keep moving. Probably gonna keep moving along here. It'll probably end up holding these prices here after the China stuff. Because Lord knows China will probably continue stimulating. Because China is now intervening in their foreign exchange market. So yeah, that's a nice little shot. USDC and H real quick. I'm also going to add this to the daily plan watch list so we can check up on it every now and again at least. And wow, oh my fucking god. Oh man. Check out that low. Oh yeah, man. Go right to a peak in the distribution. Yeah, well, that's where you'd probably put a good limit.
I want to put a limit there for sure. Actually.
Yeah, yeah. And now you probably would have had a limit here that gets stopped, and then a limit here that gets stopped. But also having the limit here come all the way back up would have made up for those two losses. And now I don't know if it would have made any extra money, but because those stops are so damn tight, the distance from here to here probably would be covering the majority, if not all, of those losses. And now it's just a matter of, does this thing go higher into the end of the day to actually continue making money? Guess we'll have to wait and see. I should probably tell people who are watching to like, so then the video gets recommended to more people. Yeah, so if you watched, yeah, and we're already about 50 minutes into the stream now. So I'll just say, hey, if you want to hang out with us in the Discord, because we'll be probably hanging out in here for like another hour or so. Because what else is there really to go over other than, you know, effectively waiting for the outlooks to get sent to our inboxes here? Because I'm waiting on Westpac to send me an outlook. I'm waiting on Wells Fargo to send me an outlook for the week ahead. Literally, today is Thursday, right? Yeah, I should be getting an email today from Wells Fargo on the economic outlook for next week. So I'm already preparing today for trades next week. I already don't get how the people at these institutions on the Thursday and the Friday issue like full 4 or 5 page reports on the following week every single week without fail. Like, man, free institutional research is a big shoulder to lean on. Really can help keep you on your toes.
Amazon would have been so beautiful.
Oh, on the day.
No, on the weekly for stocks.
Let's see.
This would have been
For
a level for me to get long.
oh yeah, that would have been a nice short right there for a little nibble on the short
Yeah.
side at the 141. And right
Hmm.
about now, you would have either already taken profit on the day before because we're gapped up. You probably would have taken some profit on the day before, and then
Yeah.
if it came down here, taking another long. So, I mean, that played out. That's a $5
Hmm.
move on Amazon just for the week. I mean, sure, could have shot for something like that, but this is gonna net a lot more consistency. Going from effectively what's the 50% probability where 50% of your tops show up to the 50% of where your lows show up. 50-50. I mean, that's probably a good shorthand for this type of setup. Do a 50-50. Find where
Hmm.
50% of your tops occur. That's usually going to be your middle peak in your distribution. Find where 50% of your lows occur. That's going to be roughly your low in your distribution. And then look at your closes. Most of the time, well, 70% of the time, you're closing below 50% of your highs. And here, it's like also 75% of the time, you're closing above 50% of your lows. Oh, thanks, Joel, for the heads up. I had the Discord screen on. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. Thanks for the chat. Nice to see people hanging out. Yeah, no, the trades are doing well this morning, but I mean, Isaac, you can kind of see how like outside of putting on the limits, doing the initial research, like it takes 30 minutes to an hour. And
Yeah. I mean, literally the thing that takes me the most time is setting all those damn limit orders.
yeah, but then it's like, what else is there to do? Well, I guess I can go read outlooks and just be aware of risks that aren't on the chart. I can, you know, like read up the self determination theories. Like, you can do an arbitrary amount of things with your time because literally it's just trading gets a lot more actually boring. Like, not in the sort of anecdotal, oh, I'm just so good at trading because trading, yeah, I'm so bored because, oh, I'm so good at trading, kind of pompous asshole kind of stuff. It's like, no, we have a system. We're just repeatedly trading the system, and it's just the distribution of returns. And once you understand how it's made and how it works and how to trade it, like, and then also how to do the risk management properly, using proper basis points, diversing across a range of 5-20 assets. Like,
Exactly.
it gets boring because it ends up becoming actual work. It's like, oh, I gotta get up and do the same thing today as I did the last like 2 years. And pretty much outside of economic events, outside of, I mean, pretty much economic events and geopolitical events and the surprises that occur. Um, like it kind of sucks. Like, oh, I don't have to be concerned too much, or at
Yeah.
least you don't have to be. Like, don't get me wrong. There's gonna be some, I don't know, negative Nancy's. What's the version of negative Nancy that's all about being concerned? It's not a concern troll, right? That's something different. I don't know what the analogy is, but you don't want to be like, oh, what, concerned Karen? Something along those lines.
Concerned parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, some people are just going to be, they're going to have the mindset kind of like a helicopter mom, right? They're just going to be perpetually worried about any risk. Like, even if, let's say, their kid wants to learn how to do tightrope, that sort of gymnastics, even when there's like two nets below them and then a bunch of like soft pillows and air mattresses under the nets, it's like just the act of doing something risky, even if in the greater context it's not as risky, it's like there's still a lot of concern behind it, right? It's like, well, that's what you got stops for, and that's why you set your stops at these levels. And are you risking 6% of your account on every trade? Oh my god.
I don't even think lumber has 3,000 look back. Damn.
Yeah, you like, it's quite surprising. Oh shit, lumber is like taken off today. Holy crap.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the rain probabilities on it, but it doesn't have doesn't have that much look back.
Yeah, the look back can be quite like inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like literally you can zoom out and you can only see about 600 bars on a 2
Yeah.
hour. Um let's
I'm on
see. Can we
12 right
find
now.
another Pepperstone has a lumber chart and has more data, but it only goes back about 1800 bars. Ay, ay, ay. Is there really no good like lumber chart? Producer price
Well,
index of lumber, bunch of CME futures for lumber. Yeah, you got to use a higher time frame. What? You can't even use a higher time frame?
nope, I used the 12-hour and it still wasn't anything.
Uh what? Let's see here. Wood. Oh, the ETF wood. I mean, for all intents and purposes, yeah, this one will probably work out. Global Timber and Forestry ETF. It's literally, the ticker is literally the word wood. Thanks for that, Joel. If you want to Isaac in the Discord, feel free to hop in once we're done with the stream. I mean, the stream's gone on for about an hour, so I don't think that there's too much else to really talk about or show off. I don't know. Joel, do you want to actually see anything specific before I cut this off? I'll put this under commodities, actually. Why not? I don't know. Any try requests from you guys over there on YouTube? You know what's got me a little, you know, interested is I'm up on my New Zealand dollar short, and I'm up on my Aussie dollar long. You would think that the correlation would be stronger between those two. DXY. All right, I'll pull up DXY for you. So let's look at it on the day and on the week. Yeah, DXY just got hit in the head with a big fucking hammer called China intervention. So on the day, yeah, you could end up closing sideways from here. Oh man, look at that. Came really, really close to that low on the day here. But also this is the big flashing red warning sign. You seen this, Isaac, on the DXY 2 hour? That big old
Yeah.
fat peak in your distribution right at the beginning of the day. Like that is the juicy short. That is a juicy, juicy short.
I've also noticed that like through my filtering process, I make really really good like I 20
Uh, Isaac, you're going through a tunnel, my man. You're lagging out hardcore.
um
Uh, you're more. Why would you be more bullish on New Zealand? I mean, if you've read any of the outlooks in Discord, my man, but oh yeah, you are outside. All right, Isaac. Let's see here. There's also another group. Yeah, there's ASB, and then I think ASX, and then Westpac. There's three banks that I go to for Australia and New Zealand stuff, and yeah, all three of them just straight up said the currency or the country that's potentially going to benefit more from China stimulus is going to be Australia. Because a big reason why is also where that stimulus goes in China. So if the Chinese government decides to stimulate the manufacturing sector of the economy, that'll more help Australia. Because Australia exports raw materials and energy to China. So if China is stimulating their manufacturing, that money will go into buying more goods from Australia. But if that money, that stimulus money, comes out and it gets made and goes into services more so than manufacturing, you'll probably end up with New Zealand getting stronger than Australia. And when these analysts kind of took things into account, they're like, well, it's probably more likely that we see the stimulus go to manufacturing because manufacturing is really hurting, and that is the driver of a lot of China's growth. So we'll probably see more stimulus into manufacturing. Yeah, exactly. New Zealand and their dry powdered whole milk export. Yeah. But the problem with that expectation, Joel, I don't know if you've seen the forecasts for the dry powdered whole milk market, just from Westpac alone. I posted an outlook on it. I'll pull it up. There's a whole outlook just on that I got from like earlier this week. Here, yeah. When you're ready, Isaac, let me know. I'll let you back in here. Outlooks. That's RB and Z. Economic over. I mean, let's see here. Economic overview is also New Zealand, but where was it? ASX or it was B and Z. B and Z on August 7th. I'll copy the link and I'll put it in the general chat. So if you're in the Discord, you can just check the general chat, and that'll be the link to the outlook I'm talking about. There you go. Yeah, so check out that outlook. The expectation right now is that so much, so like the rundown, not to be pretentious and be like, oh, go read the outlook. Like, I can just tell you what's in the outlook. Oh, also we hit the likely low for the day on DXY. That's a good buy in my book. No, the thing is that during COVID, all of the milk producers, actually all throughout 2020 and 2021 and partially in 2022, all the milk producers stored all of their milk into dry powdered, and the inventory of dry powdered whole milk has gone up so much and has risen so quickly and has stayed at such elevated levels that it is perpetually bringing down the price of milk, of the export. And it's being priced in New Zealand terms. So not only is the price of the commodity, the largest export commodity in New Zealand, going down because of oversupply, there's not enough demand, right? But also because their currency is devaluing due to an economic slowdown. So you're getting the worst situation to possibly occur. And that will accelerate a slowdown in growth even further. Because your currency is worth less, and your commodity is also worth less. So now the growth you're able to generate by getting other currencies or general trade with other countries by exporting the dry powdered whole milk goes down pretty significantly compared to, and the markets that New Zealand has to export their huge supply of the dry powdered whole milk is a lot smaller compared to Australia's capacity to export energy commodities. So back in 2021, 2022, Australia had a lot of exposure to China, as in most of their exports was just exclusively going to China. Same thing with New Zealand. But while that's still sort of the case with New Zealand, Australia has made a much larger effort into diversifying and reglobalizing and diversifying where they export their goods to. So then not only can they keep up the demand side of the equation, but then they don't have to slow down their economy and pull back their economy as much by depending so much on Chinese demand alone. So Australia is going around and finding other places to replace the Chinese demand. So their commodities and their currency hasn't, taken a huge hit. And over the long run, Australia should probably do better. Aussie, New Zealand. When you read those outlooks, a lot of them are going to bring up Aussie, New Zealand. This was an interesting trend for like the last 5 or 6 days, but now it's probably going to start drifting higher at this point. Yeah, your low's likely in. Don't get me wrong, your top could be in for the month. But you crack this high, you start going up, and you end up doing something like this. If you make a new high for the day, it's going to be a new high for the month. It'll probably be at the end of the month, like kind of like this. Yeah. And we should be getting some new Australia and New Zealand and Westpac outlooks So when I post those, Joel, just check those out. Those guys are the experts. Those guys are the PhDs, the people who actually interact with that market and are the people where I get my information from. So yeah, when I post the outlooks, you can read them along with me. And also, yeah, check this out. You're just kind of sitting in nowhere's land on New Zealand dollar. For all we know, this could be the bottom, but I really don't like having, like, if this thing bottomed out over here at this price, at the, like, just below the 60 cent spot, I'd be a lot more open to being bullish. But right now, I'm just like, I need to see a lot. I need to just see things work a lot better on this, because as far as I know, this is an extremely bearish trend. On the week, that was probably the low for the week over the last 12 hours right here. So while there isn't a setup really for the month, there is a setup here for the week. And then you can go to a 2 hour. And we can check out what that looks like. Oh, check that out. 50% of your lows, 50% of your highs. Yeah, I probably should have taken another nibble right there when I had the chance. Yeah, that was a much better short, because imagine, like, just this little adjustment takes you from 1.5 risk to reward to like 2.5 to 2. Like, just that little adjustment. Yeah, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, that was the likely low for the day. Sure, it could have slid down, but hell, you could have stopped out, hopped back in. Very clear stop right there. And this is a pretty clear short, I think. Unless US dollar continues just to get weaker and weaker. But from here, I think the low is probably in for the day. It's likely in for the day. There's always some probability that you go lower. But if you're going to, have any sort of system, you need to be consistent with it. So, literally right there, yeah. I mean, you can even put the stop even a little closer, frankly, like that. And you're taking that pretty much into the end of the day. So that would be the day trade. And this is already pretty darn close. So, I mean, you can argue putting it there or putting it there. It really depends on your risk tolerance. Do you want a 1.5 to 1 risk to reward ratio, or like a 1.1, 1.2 risk to reward ratio? And the other part is, do you think putting your stop here versus putting your stop here has any sort of significant change in the likelihood of you actually stopping out? And if the answer is yes on such a small move based off such small probabilities, the answer is objectively probably is no. So keeping your stop there should be fine in this scenario here. So yeah, sucks sometimes having little drawdowns on AUD USD. This happened to me today, actually. I got the long here, stopped out immediately on it, and then just got long it again at the next likely low. See? So if I hit, let's say, if I hide these drawings, we had a peak in the distribution right here, went long that, stopped out there, and then here's the next peak in the distribution. Oh, cool, we hit that. Go long, I went long there, and now we're all the way up here. And damn, I think I mixed my exit. Cool. Now I'm out. A little late. Just a little late. All right. So we had a trade. Let's see. Nice little day trade. Probably till like right around here. So cool. A nice little 60 pip trade up for 1% on the asset itself. Yeah. And that was a 2.3, 2.4 risk to the reward. So I risked 20 basis points on this. I just made 50 basis points on this. Very, very nice. I mean, this gets pretty straightforward once you have an indicator like this just to do simple stuff. I mean, all this is doing is helping value where the likely low, helping value where the likely high is going to be. Yeah. And then we got the new version coming out, version 1.2 of range probabilities, and see how it gives you pretty much the exact same setup. It does have a bug or two in it, but that's just because I'm working out the kinks. But yeah. Alrighty. I think I'm set now for the day, and I think I'm pretty much done with the stream now. We've been going for about an hour, 16-ish minutes. I'll say thank you, everyone who's been watching. You can hang out with me and the rest of the crew going over outlooks here in the Discord. Link to it's in the description. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern, for the last stream of the week. And then we'll be back Monday through Friday. And yeah, I've been your boss, Joe Boss. Go ahead and take care, guys. Take care. See you in a bit. Ah, I see Isaac. Let me bring you in here. Oh, there you go, man. And I'll end that stage. And we'll go to... I'll just screen share my stuff so I can screen share it. Yeah, dude, this stuff gets pretty straightforward. And I'll watch your stream too.
Look at
I did also catch.
Well, one thing I've realized was.
What is it?
I want to do an effective filtering process. So I just realized, like, on a day, although I trade USD CAD, Euro USD, GU, AU, UJ, and GJ, I trade AUD. I don't know if it's because of the market we're in, the month we're in, the week we're in, but AUD USD has been my breadwinner. Like, it has made me most of my basis.
The volatility on it's been great. And what's nice is when you have prices that can say, hey, when you get to this level of volatility, it's a good buy. Oh, when you get to this level of volatility, it's a good sell. It makes it a lot easier to just trade the more volatile assets when you have something to help indicate, oh, these are the good levels to find the top, find the bottom.
Yeah, I said, and my question is, why is it